Watching on the AFA channel, that is the shot of the mayor's building here in New York City. And, of course, a big mayoral election is just around the corner for the city of New York. And there are many people that live here that are quite concerned. Both candidates seem to be very, very committed to social reengineering, particularly in the social arena, and to be very candid, in the area of criminal law enforcement reform and other things as well. And I don't know. A great city may have some dark days coming. We hope that is not the case, but it sure seems like it is not far from now. We're talking right now about an issue that concerns all of us if we have kids or no children that go to public schools. Last week, the House of Representatives passed a measure that would bar any formerly convicted, not just accused or indicted, but convicted sex offenders from being able to teach in your child's classroom. And it would also bar the possibility for rapists, murderers, other first-degree felonies, convictions from being able to teach in your child's classroom as well. Everybody in the House of Representatives thought it was a great idea, except for the one Muslim congressman from Minnesota. He spoke out against it. But everyone else thought it was a really good idea. And now it goes to the Senate, where Harry Reid will face a decision, face the wrath of the teachers' unions, who give millions upon billions of dollars to Democratic candidates, including his own candidacy, or do what's right for the kids of America and see to it that this bill passes. It was House Resolution 2083 in the House. We don't know what the Senate bill's assignment for it is going to be yet, but if you just call your senator and say, we want you to call us House Resolution 2083, and we want you to pass it. You don't have to have the Senate bill number. House Resolution 2083 is what you're encouraging them to pass, and you can encourage your senators to vote in favor of it at 202-224-3121. You can also encourage Majority Leader Reid to actually bring it forward for a vote at that same number, 202-224-3121, 202-224-3121. So this is what I want you to do. I want you to realize that your children's safety. Again, the quote from the article that I wrote that you can see on onenewsnow.com. This is what I want you to take away more than anything else. The lessening of our sexual mores have produced a genuine shift in what is safe, decent, and good for children. In the lessening of the societal sexual mores, we have made a dangerous world for children. And this bill, the reaction to this bill, the fact that the teachers' unions want this to be killed, demonstrates specifically why that statement is true. Because people that should know better are actually wanting to put kids in harm's way. 888-589-8840. Now, you don't need to call your congressional representatives because the House of Representatives already voted on it. They've already passed it. Who you need to be calling is your senators. The U.S. senators that represent your state. There are 2 for every state. So you need to call, and you need to do that. For instance, in Texas, it would be Cruz. And, who's the white-haired gentleman that... Cornyn. It'd be Cornyn and Cruz. In New York, it'd be Gillibrand and Schumer. In California, Feinstein and Boxer. But whoever it is, know the 2 senators that are from your state. Contact the switchboard. Ask to be sent to their offices and tell me what they are saying when you call here following that. Now let's talk to Floyd, who just called from the state of Ohio. Hello, Floyd. Welcome. You're on AFA Today.
Hello.
And you called your senators. Who are your senators in the state of Ohio?
I'm not sure. I called their office and I asked to speak to the senator from Ohio. And,
okay, I think one of them is Mr. Sherrod, and I'm not sure the other one. But
it was. Sherrod,
okay, and what did they say when you called?
Girl,
okay.
Representative, she had a cold. She kept coughing. I told her I was appalled that a bill like that had to be passed.
Did you encourage them to vote in favor of it?
I'm in favor of the bill. Yes, I am.
Yeah, but did you encourage them to vote in favor of it?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, good. That more than anything else. Yeah, it is a shame, and it's a great observation, Floyd, and thank you for following through on that. It is a tremendous truth that it is a shame that this needs to be passed. But the truth is, and I want you to see how deeply this goes. If we don't pass this bill, then there's nothing stopping sex offenders, rapists, murderers, all formerly convicted of such, from applying for teaching jobs, and if they don't get them, suing you, the taxpayers, for the right to have the job if they're denied on those grounds. Do you see how absolutely backwards and ridiculous this becomes? Because we're in a litigative day and age. If somebody goes, oh, well, I didn't get that job because I'm a sex offender, but the law doesn't say anything about sex offenders being barred from it, so you're just prejudiced against me. I did my time. I should have the right to teach your kids. That's what they'll say. And there'll be some lunatic judge out there on some court somewhere that'll eventually agree with them. Probably in the Ninth Circuit, but wherever it is, that's what will take place. Teachers unions, for some reason, and this happened in California a couple of years ago, but now it's happening on the federal level. They seem to be invested in protecting and hiding the identity of people that might try to teach in our schools, that might have felony or sex convictions on their record. And friends, it's just unacceptable for them to do that. It's just unacceptable. 888-589-8840 to talk to me, to talk to your senators, 202-224-3121, 888-589-8840 to talk to me, to talk to your senators, 202-224-3121. And when you're done talking to your senators, call again and ask to speak to Senator Harry Reid's office. He's the majority leader. He will be bringing the bill. He's the one that sets which bills come forward. Encourage him to put this as a high priority in the Senate's business. It's already passed the House. If it passes the Senate, then it's on to the president. The president would be in an almost impossible situation not to sign it. I mean, can you imagine the fallout that there would be if he decided to, for some reason, veto a bill that would keep sex offenders out of the classroom? He's the father of two daughters. There's got to be some degree. I know everything else has gotten wacky, but he's got to sign that. And if he doesn't, well, then that just feeds the fuel for 2014. But for right now, let's believe the best and hope for the best, and let's do everything we can to see to it that this bill does get passed. 202-224-3121, 202-224-3121. You can read the story at onenewsnow.com under the perspectives section. You can get all the details, what I've already gone over on the broadcast. But to call your senators, 202-224-3121. And then after you've spoken to them, call me. I want to know what they are telling you in reaction. Let's talk to Mike, who's calling from Texas. Hi, Mike. Welcome. You're on AFA Today.
Hi, Kevin. Thank you very much for taking my call.
Sure thing.
My question is the standard of which the attacks that happen in Washington seem to be very distant from how the Democratic side attacks the people that don't agree with their agenda or vote in a different direction than they believe, such as the social health care situation where the Republicans were called, haters of the elderly and want to throw grandma off the cliff and all that.
Right.
There's no ads out there right now that are showing these unions as supporting these sex offenders and felonists that are looking to try to get into our system or trying to support a bill that won't stop them into the teaching system. And then there's nothing that has called out any, like the representative that voted against it. There's no ad there that is showing, I guess, in his state that he's doing this. And there's ads every time there's something that disagrees with the Democratic agenda. There seems to be something on TV that automatically is run over and over and over, beat into our heads about how horrible that is. Why is there such a difference there, and how can we close that gap to get this stuff on the mainstream media, or at least out there in some of the politicians advertising for their
certainly
their
well
jobs?
I think, for instance, with Keith Ellison, the Muslim congressman from Minnesota that spoke in favor of killing this bill, I think that certainly those comments should be run in an election against him by any opponent in his primary or in his general election until you make people nauseous from running them so much. I absolutely believe that we should be doing it. Now, why? I don't know. Maybe we haven't convinced the billionaires on our side to invest the amount of money into the groups that need to do this in order to make that happen. All I know is, Mike, is when I find out about it, I can use the bully pulpit of AFA Today. I can use the bully pulpit of the Kevin McCullough Show. I can go on Fox. I can write columns. I can do what I can do. You can do things likewise, like calling your senators, writing a letter to the editor of your local newspaper, speaking candidly with your friends. And if people have or of mind to have the financial resources to produce such ads, contact a media company. I know a really good one in New York who could produce such ads, but it's going to take out-of-the-box creative resource using, Mike, to begin to answer that. And you're right, the other side does a very good job in their rapid response. We're not so good, but and part of it is we're much more family-oriented people. We don't sit around, trying to re-engineer society. We're busy raising kids, paying taxes, and trying to, catch a few hours of sleep at night. At the end of the day, there's a lot of different priority with their use of time on the other side, and they use that to their advantage. I'm not saying that's any excuse, but that's one of the reasons why what happened with AFR and the Share-a-thon last week was so important, because now more than ever people have said, hey, AFR has to be here because we won't know about this stuff unless you are. And so we're making it available today. Please call your senators and then start networking. Find some billionaires. Introduce them to me. We'll start talking about strategies on how we can push back on this, and not just this, but every issue that comes forward.
Yeah, that's always, seems to be a one-sided thing as far as how the media, puts this stuff in light. It doesn't seem like.
But it's not, Mike. It's not ethereal, though. It's not mystical, and it's not ethereal. It's not some boogeyman that's out there. Wealthy people are allocating resources through platforms and specific programs to send messages out when things happen. For the conservatives to do the same thing, we need people that have money to allocate resources, and we need platforms to be able to get those messages out. It's not a mystery, and we're not up against some ghost. It's people using money and resources. And we need to do the same thing on our side. We may not have as much money in some cases, but we've got, I think, a heck of a lot more people that agree with us than agree with them. On this issue in particular, I think in excess of 95 to 97% of America would agree with our position on this bill in particular. And that's why, if they capitulate to the teachers' unions, we need to scream this from the top of every mountain and make sure that every person that voted against it to kill it is replaced in Congress next year.
Right. We also need to make sure the members of these unions know what their unions are doing. That's another side of it.
That's absolutely true. And Mike, the unions. Thank you for the call. The unions are a two-edged sword. You can't get a job without being a member of them in most school districts in many of the largest cities in the country, and but at the same time, they don't really do anything for the average teacher. So the teacher's in a no-win situation. And by the way, overwhelming majority of the teachers' unions agree with me on this position, too. They don't want these sex offenders in the classrooms next door to them any more than we want them with our kids. They don't want picture a 24-year-old, fresh-faced, beautiful little blonde girl just gets out of school, starts teaching her first class, and she finds out there's a convicted rapist in the room across the hall from her. They don't want that. It is not a good idea. And the fact that the teachers' unions are willing basically to go to the wall for this, it just demonstrates the fecklessness, the impotence that they have to affect actual substantive issues in the culture. The teachers' unions are about propping up the people that are at the very top. They don't care about the average union member, and they certainly don't care about the kids. You want to read the article, go to onenewsnow.com. A few more of your calls before we're done. Let's talk to Jim in Mississippi. Hi, Jim. Welcome. You're on with Kevin McCullough on AFA Today.
Yes, it's kind of come to me of late. Looking over the preamble of the Constitution, there's one word in there that's mentioned 3 times, and that's united or union. And, a people have to be in some way united on core precepts and principles of just human relations. If we can't even share that, this idea of freedom and liberty, I don't see how it can work.
Well, and that's where even the libertarians, I feel like, are off base, even though they're not nearly as bad as the liberals, because they want to disacknowledge the existence of God and say, no, we're just going to deal with fiscal and defense issues. That doesn't seem to make sense to me either. Truth is truth, and truth comes from one source in my book, and that's the God who made us. Ron in Illinois, you may be our last voice on this today. Hi, welcome to AFA Today.
Yeah, hey, I'm here. Say, I'd just like to remind your listeners that I know this is the way it is in our state, and it's probably in every state in the union, that sex offenders can't even live within 300 feet of a high school or any school, so why would they be allowed to be in the school? And secondly, just another point, and then I'll listen on there. The Air Force, persecuting our religious freedoms. If they ever watch anything about History Channel, the gentleman that flew the airplanes over World War II, I'm sure it says something like 70 or 80% of the pilots that ever came back from them bomber missions, they prayed to their Lord before they went on the mission.
Oh, you know that they did, Ron. You absolutely know that they did. Thanks for the call and for the reminder. Friends, call your senators, 202-224-3121. When you're done with them, call Senator Reed's office, 202-224-3121. Speak firmly, speak kindly, encourage them to do the right thing, and then let's pray and watch and see if they do. We hope that they will. Senator Reed, please pass House Bill 2083. The children of America need your help on this, and we don't want to see you abandon them. 202-224-3121. I'm Kevin McCullough. We'll see you tonight for the Kevin McCullough Show. Much more on this and a lot more. And back here tomorrow for AFA Today.
The views and opinions